Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Manipulative people have a way of drawing others in to get their way, making it easy for many to fall victim to their schemes. Here to share what tactics these toxic people use and what we can do about it, we welcome back trauma-informed life coach and author of the new Guidance from Gaia Oracle, Shannon Kaiser. It is so good to see you. And thank you for bringing our buddy Chance back today.
Had to bring him back, and very important topic today. Thank you.
Yes, and he's very important in your life, so we're always happy when he's available to stop by.
Thank you.
So let's talk about some of these things, and you've experienced some of this stuff, so you really know both sides of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, people come into our lives and they don't always have the best intentions, and sometimes we don't know. I think the problem for me was I thought everyone was kind of like me with going into it with relationships, wanting partnership, wanting to build together, but I was in relationships with people who actually wanted to control me or were actually more interested in maybe just being manipulative. And so these tactics come from both personal experience, but also in my trauma-informed life coaching practice.
Yeah, and it's, you know, we kind of can recognize most people do have good intentions, but you just have to be aware that there are people out there that might be using some grooming tactics like the ones that we can talk about today.
Yeah.
Let's begin with just the charm and the wit. A lot of these people they have really good social skills.
That's exactly it. And so I think it's very interesting because we get very pulled in by the allure. It's very charming, and I think it's important to recognize, to look at character. Always choose character over charm. I find that a lot of times we get enamored. The charm, and they're witty, and it sounds great, and it can be almost like a spell, and we fall into it. But you know, it's interesting. I unfortunately was involved with someone who was a con artist. I thought they were my friend, but it was all fake. They manipulated me, and looking back, there was a lot of red flags. In fact, one was they said they were a dog lover, loved animals, but every time they were around Chance, they didn't even pet Chance. They didn't even ask about Chance.
Okay.
Red flag. So charming, lovely smile, but character was totally the opposite. So let's start to look for, are their actions matching their words?
There you go.
And they could be very charming, but character, how they show up, are they a kind person, is actually way more important.
Because some people they're so effervescent naturally, and maybe they've just been that way their whole lives, but other people, I think they do have kind of a learned skill. It's a muscle that they've developed over time to get what they want out of others.
It's actually a calculated charm, and it's a manipulation tactic, and then as soon as they get what they want, they can kind of drop that mask, so to speak, and that's how you know you're dealing with a master manipulator. And this is the thing, not everyone has bad intentions, and sometimes people don't even know that they're doing it, but what we're talking about today is the manipulators, the abusers, the people who are out to get you.
Okay, let's talk about negging. I think a lot of people maybe have experienced that, but aren't really necessarily aware of that tactic.
Yeah, negging is actually really abusive, and sometimes it comes off like playing, and it's an underhanded compliment, and it's something that people, abusers, or people who are manipulators will do to try to get you to drop your guard. If you think of the movie, maybe with Will Smith, Hitch, maybe not everyone's seen the movie, but there's a very clear scene where Hitch goes in with a woman who is very attractive, surrounded by men, and she puts money in her hand, you know, and walks away, and she's, excuse me, I'm not a waitress. And he's like, well, I thought you were. And he keeps negging. That's a neg. And it was to pull her away, and it's to get her to lower her guard. And so that's just one example, but I think we see it in pop culture all the time. That's why I brought that up, because a lot of times we think it's okay. But if you're around someone who is trying to pick at your self-esteem to make you feel like you are not good enough, then that's something you really want to look at. I can't be empowered around someone. I have to be less of a person. That's not healthy.
Because in a lot of ways, it just captures your attention in that moment. Even if you're not really aware of how that's happening, you're like, wait a minute, why did so-and-so say that? Or and you look inward, but wait a minute, that wasn't about me. And
and there's studies around this too, that a woman, when her guard is lowered, she actually is more susceptible to advances. And so it's actually insecure people, and not even making it about gender. People who are insecure are the ones who do the neg because they don't feel like they can actually get someone. So just recognize what I do now is I say, you know, I really have respectful relationships, and I would like to be treated with respect, so please don't talk to me like that.
There you go. Easy as that. No more needs to be said. Okay, then what about the silent treatment?
This is something that's so painful if you're on the other side of it, and it's actually a control tactic where someone will completely stonewall or withhold information, or just they don't like what you did or what you said, so they will completely just ghost you or disappear until you come back and try to make things right. Now, if someone's doing this, recognize it is a manipulation tactic, and a lot of the times it's to avoid accountability. There's a no-win situation when people do this. You are not in a relationship with someone who's healthy or who wants to come to the relationship in a way to solve the problem. They just want control. And so you really want to look at communication and having boundaries and say, you know, I'm looking to develop a communicative relationship where we work through this. And if you do that again, then maybe this isn't the right relationship. Or you start to build boundaries of partnership, not control.
There you go.
And domination.
Well, and then another one there is hot and cold behavior. That can be really just exhausting to deal with.
It's exhausting, and that's the key word. And a lot of the times these manipulators do the hot and cold because they know it's exhausting, and it's actually a trauma bond tactic that psychological people will use because you want that attention. It puts dopamine in our system, and it makes us fuel and want that. And there's a cognitive dissonance where this person was so nice to me yesterday. How could they pull away? Or I want to go back to the honeymoon stage, or whatever it may be. We'll recognize these are manipulation tactics, and they're pulling the wool over your eyes.
What about a smear campaign? Tell me how that works.
Smear campaigns are the ultimate gaslighting tactics where they will lie a lot of the times if they know that you're onto them, or if you're going to announce the divorce first or whatever it may be. They will actually tell lies, blatant lies to other people to protect their reputation. And often what happens is it's a complete degrading of this, and it's very hard. What you can tell with a smear campaign is the person who is silent is often the truth, because the truth does not have to defend itself.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had friends experience that, and it can be so devastating and really hard to come back from.
It's really hard. And I would say anyone who is going through a smear campaign, just recognize that time will always tell the truth. You don't have to spend energy and effort defending yourself. Spend all your energy on rebuilding your life, focusing elsewhere. Don't give energy to it.
There you go. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Always nice to see you. And thanks, Chance, for being here. What a guy. We want to remind viewers that Shannon just released her new card deck and guidebook, Guidance from Gaia Oracle. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.